having breakfast in bed. I like waking up to the smell of bacon. Sue me. And since I don't have a butler, I have to do it myself.
My, oh my. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. It is I. It is me, the Austinator, coming to you live on YouTube for the first time in 4 months. I know. Everybody's like, oh my god, Austin, where the fuck have you been? It's been so long. Guys, listen, just stuff's been going on, a lot of important stuff, a lot of important life stuff. I'm back. You know, I'm in 3-4 months. That's not something that's not actually wrestling related, because the last one we did that was not wrestling related. We're back to talking about it's Cobra Kai. We're talking Cobra Kai today. Actually, the last time I think we talked about Cobra Kai was a year ago, and that was season 5. So it's been a year in the making. Of course, we got Ninjroid over here to my right. Hello, Ninjroid.
Oh, hi guys.
Man, Ninjroid, let me tell you that this is surreal. This is like the big comeback, kinda. This is the big comeback.
Yeah, no, honestly, I know, like, I honestly watched that intro and I still remember making that for you way back in the day, and I'm like, man, I forgot about Austinator's Drive-In.
Yeah, I forgot about it too, but to be honest, I don't know if it would have worked out, to be honest. It's just,
Or Shadow Eye. I forgot.
Well, listen, I said I was going to bring back Shadow Eye for maybe a couple things, and one of them is Zack Snyder, and I'll maybe talk to you about that, because I did watch the first part of Rebel Moon recently.
Oh, you want to review Rebel Moon? Because I will review Rebel Moon with you.
We're gonna review Rebel Moon because we've already reviewed Army of the Trash, we reviewed Army of Thieves. Of course, we gotta review
Rebel of Trash.
It upon us. He's literally giving. Yeah, no. Many of you are wondering, Austin, what exactly? Why are we here today? Why are we here? Well, let me tell you here, Buckaroo. Today we are going to be talking about Cobra Kai season 6, part 1. No, not the full-on season, but we're going to be talking about Cobra Kai season 6, part 1. Emphasis on part 1. So this isn't going to be your typical review. This isn't going to be like the last time we did a Cobra Kai review where it was very roundtable-esque. We went around just talking about our positives and negatives. This one is just going to be more of a relaxed, kind of free-for-all, just discussion. We're not going to do grades yet. We're just going to be shooting the shit, honestly, and we're just going to be talking about the season so far. And then we'll kind of maybe theorize on what's going to happen in the later parts. So, without further ado, we've been going on. I've rambled for 4 minutes. Ninjroid, I'm kind of curious on what you're going to say about it because I have my own thoughts, but I want to give you the floor to you real quick. Well, what were your thoughts on part 1 so far?
Part 1 of season 6, the final season of Cobra Kai. Show that I legit got Austin into. I felt lackluster. I felt bored most of the time, and it felt repetitious. I'm gonna just say that. That's my quick thoughts on the season.
A lot of the points I'm going to make, and I think the points we're going to be talking about throughout, is I think we're both going to be very similar in terms of our thoughts.
Yeah.
I didn't like. Okay, and before everyone goes, "Oh my god, you hated it!" Like, no, I didn't hate season 6, part 1. I enjoyed it for what it was, but a lot of the things that Ninjoid you just said are true. It's very repetitious. It almost feels like it just almost feels like they've ran out of ideas almost. Like it almost
Well,
feels like, uh-oh,
yeah.
well, we kind of stretched it out to season 6 accidentally, so now we kind of have to retread on a few things and make some of these characters progress in order for season 6 to make any sense. So I I don't know. This to me, I wouldn't call it completely underwhelming because it's like it's only been like 5 episodes so far. But
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying, usually, like, I can understand first episode being slow, but by the second episode, it should pick up, and it did not take until I would say the fifth episode actually made it pick up. And of course, it ended right on a point where I'm like, oh, I'm actually kind of interested now. But it's still kind of like repetitious again. So it's like, I mean, there's a lot of issues that I have with this season. And I don't want to say that because it's like the past. And see, that's the thing. I remember, when I said I had an issue with season 4, everyone was like, you're crazy. Season 4 was great. I'm like, did I say I did not like it? No, I just said I had a few issues with it. I felt like it was repetitious on a few things. But no, this is like repetitiousness upgraded in my eyes. Like this is like, yep, this is exactly what I said. When I said in season 4 review, man, I think season 5 should be the last season because season 4 was getting repetitious, and then season 5 was great, and then I was like, okay, I don't know how they're going to do season 6, but I'm all for it because how good season 5 was. Like, you get what I mean, Austin? Like,
yeah,
that's how
and
we all felt. Like, okay, whatever they do should be great because season 5 was great.
yeah,
And then we get to season 6, and this is a rough start, at least.
yeah. I don't want to say it's like it's not trash. I'm not gonna go that
No,
far. Like it's not
no, it's
that
not
bad.
garbage. It's not garbage, but it's poor.
It's definitely
It's
not strong. It's not a strong showing. I will say that it's very
it's
weak.
rough. That's what I think. That's the best word to use it. It's not bad. It's just rough. You
Yeah.
know.
Like now, I and I'm gonna continue to say it. I'm not gonna judge it until at least part 2, because that way, we're that point we're 10 episodes into a 15 episode season. Then I can make up my mind and say, yeah, this season is either really bleh or it could pick up. We don't know, but
Yeah.
it just right now, I really wish they. And I think I'm just gonna start the conversation here. I think the biggest problem for me, and I think we've already talked about, is the repetition. But there's another thing that I have an issue with, and this was something that I kind of noticed early on, and this is the same problem I had with season 5, is they rushed through the whole. They rushed through shit. It's like the whole Kenny thing with him and Sean, and like Kenny immediately be like, "Oh, I'm going to Miyagi-Do." I was like, I don't think that really makes a lot of sense there. I feel like you could have maybe used maybe a couple. That should have been a season whole arc for Kenny at least. Like
Yes.
him
Well,
trying to figure out where he is and like where his placement is in karate. Like that would have made more sense than just them going. I mean, don't get me wrong. The scene with Sean and Kenny I thought was a really nice scene. It just felt like it happened way too soon.
Well, yeah, especially because you didn't see what's his name? Sean, you said, right? That was
Yeah,
his
Sean.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Sean was what's his name's friend. But
Robbie.
yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah,
Robbie. Sean, legit, you didn't see any change like with his character. Like you expect that he's still the bad guy. Like, well, not bad, but not a good person. How about that? We'll word it that way, you know? So when he all of a sudden is like, oh, hey, maybe you should go train with LaRusso and all that, it's like, why though? You know, I felt like, yeah, that's one thing because Kenny got introduced um season 4, right?
Yeah, season 4.
Season
Yeah.
4 was season 4 was Kenny's introduction, and he's been one of the strong points of the newer seasons. Like I kind of consider season 1 to 3 its own trilogy, and
I
like
do too.
4 to 6, I guess, as the new trilogy. The first two, by the way, 4 and 5, fantastic. Looking back at it, but this season is like, okay, Kenny, I gotta absolutely say yes. Like that was rushed, and that should have been the whole plot point. Um, and you know, like that was one thing that even well, also, I guess we might as well bring up the whole Devon thing.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
I also felt that was a little bit rushed. Devon's whole thing with her cheating and all of that, like
Yeah.
that was only brought up during one episode. Her wanting to be better. I forget which episode it was of season 6. Um, but she was like, "Oh man, I want to prove to myself. I want to prove that I should go to the global tournament and all of that." And that was the whole point of the episode. And I'm like, okay, this could have been like the whole season. Like, you
Yeah.
get what I mean? Like, or at least a good chunk of the season. Not the whole thing, but a good chunk of it. Because that was one thing that I felt like with Devin. I do like her character. I just feel like the she was introduced in season 4 too, right?
Yeah, season 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, she wasn't really a big character at all during season 4 and 5. So this season, I felt like they could have elevated her character, you know, because and see now, I guess I might as well also bring this up. Another big issue that I have with this season, and this is what leads to the repetitionness. Um, None of the main characters do really much of anything. So what I mean by that is, what does Miguel have in the story so far?
I mean, other than like applying to Stanford, he really doesn't. There, I mean, I don't necessarily think that they are not doing anything. I just think because it's the first 5 episodes and it's so slow, it's really difficult to like. It's really difficult. I think because like, other than applying to college and him being like, oh, I need to win the tournament because it'll make me look better, for Stanford. There's not a lot there. I will say.
Well, but my big issue with that is we started this show with Miguel and Johnny as like the main leads, and now one of the kid main lead doesn't even do much of anything. Like, I don't like that. Like, I mean, I get it. Johnny and LaRusso are also big characters because they're legacy characters too. But again, part of the show is called Passing on the Torch, right? And I
Right.
felt like the best thing of the first 5 seasons was seeing also the kids and their drama. You know, like not all the time was their drama great because trust me, I mean, remember season 2 with the whole love triangle crap that we talked a lot of bad crap about. But the majority of the drama was good between the kids and all of that. So, like, really, Robbie, I thought, oh my god, yes, Robbie's gonna try. His arc in this is he's gonna try and talk to Kenny, you know, because the first episode set that up. Nope, got resolved like Okay, Robbie, never mind. Robbie's back to really not doing anything. Like, too. And then the only two characters that do something is Sam and Tori, and I actually liked it.
Yeah.
At first. I liked Sam and Tori's whole thing with them becoming like best friends and all that. Like that was cool. I liked that. Because it's kind of like a spin on LaRusso and Johnny. You could kind of like compare them to in a way. But you see, Johnny and LaRusso are really never going to be best friends. And I think that's another sign of repetitionness.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of season 3, that was when what's her name came back. I forget her name now all of a sudden. But the girl that Johnny Sachs and LaRusso Sachs too. Oh my god.
Allie.
Allie, yeah. And Allie was supposed to signify they're done fighting and all of that. Then in season 4 they were fighting, and that's when I felt like, oh come on guys, you could have done better in this season. And then season 5 you saw them struggling to like teach the kids both ways, but they were really trying and all that, and I was really liking that. And then in this season they're back to fighting over each other, fighting which way is better, Miyagi-Do or Eagle Fang now, even though Eagle Fang does the same thing as Cobra Kai in some ways. And I honestly thought what would have been cool. Now, I understand that LaRusso would flip out initially, but I was like, okay, why is this season called why is this Cobra Kai? What if they legit took the Cobra Kai name and tried to make it good? The very goal that Johnny wanted to do in season 1. I thought that's what they were gonna do. But then no, Johnny's like, no, you know what, we'll go with Miyagi-Do. I thought, oh my god. That was for the first episode, though.
Right.
And then, well, I felt like another thing was that lacked with this first part is Austin, you're still there, right?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, well, you were just a little bit silent. That's the thing. Like,
No, I'm
I
just
want
letting
you
you
to
talk
also
here.
talk. But my big thing with this season so far is the lack of danger, and I get it. At the end of season 5, yeah, they had that whole fight. Cobra Kai's no more and all that. But the thing is, season 1 was a great first season, yes, but it wasn't until season 2 which the show found its identity, and that was this whole karate war.
Right.
And it seems like every single thread from that first season and second season got wrapped up in season 5. So then you get to season 6, and it's just like one big epilogue of, oh, hey, we're still having the kid. Also, we need a house. Oh, what? Can I work for you, LaRusso? Oh, you offered me the job, so I'm here. No, I did not mean it like that. Which I actually like that stuff. But then yet again, there's no danger because I don't take Kreese as a serious threat anymore.
No. The problem is with Kreese, it's like that. I'm not trying to shit on the actor. I think he's phenomenal. I think Kreese is a great character, but the issue is they never like, other than him and Terry Silver, there's really no real antagonist of the show. It's It's like you could have wrapped up Kreese's whole thing in 5. Like, you didn't need to do the whole fake his death, so he goes to, Sensei Kim in season 6 with the cigar and saying, Cobra Kai is back. Cobra Kai is back.
That's all he says in the whole season, guys. Cobra Kai is back smoking.
It's like, but the problem is like, and it goes back to repetition. It's like, realistically, I think it would have been actually a lot more interesting if Sensei Kim was the main antagonist, or like having like both Sensei Kim Sun Young and Kim Dai. I'll say Sensei Kim and then Kim Sun Young. Like, if they were both like the main antagonist of like of Cobra Kai season 6, and having someone like the people they're trying to introduce, I would say that I think would have been somewhat interesting. Because then it's like, okay, now because it's going to be a bigger tournament, which means bigger stakes, which means you got to introduce a bigger threat. But it's like, going back to Kreese, I feel like we're kind of back to that repetition of, we're kind of like not running out of ideas, but it feels like we kind of written ourselves into a corner with Kreese going back, escaping from prison, and then you have the Terry Silver thing. It just,
yeah, no, continue, Austin.
It just feels like we writ ourselves into a corner, and now it's like we have to try and figure out, okay, how are we going to get ourselves out of the hole?
Like, I get it. At the end of season 5, it did establish, a good, like, oh, Kreese is going to be the main villain season 6. Hell yeah. But now we're back to Kreese, and Kreese, like, all he does, he goes back, he goes to, the place with the other students and all that, where him and Silver first met, Master Kim, right? Yeah, Master Kim and all of that. And, they learn Cobra Kai from them, basically. And he's there, and then, he gets tasked, though, to kill a cobra by going into a cave. And he gets a cave scene, just like Dagobah with Luke in Empire. And it's like, what the hell is going on? Because then he gets delusions of Terry Silver and Johnny, and it's like, what the hell? Like, so, man, that venom must be drugs. Like, like, what the hell? And then the funny thing is, cobras are venomous. He was still alive. He walked out. He didn't even get a cure.
Yeah, like, at least the hallucination sequence in season 5 like made sense. Like, it was just Kreese's like delusions of like, and just him like almost like, it's like basically his inner self like saying like, hey, like you've fallen off like big time. But here it just feels like, that like, it's just, it comes off way too goofy, and like, maybe they did it as like get it because Karate Kid was in the 80s and Star Wars was a big thing in the 80s, like, get it, do you get it? It's like,
but that's still bad, though.
yeah,
the fact that you're legit relying on something else to tell your story is well, I mean, it can be done correctly, but the thing is, this is not done correctly. And the thing is, with Cobra Kai, yes, has it done outrageous things? Like, oh my god, basically, Terry Silver legit beat up Stingray and, basically framed it on Kreese. Yes, has the show done very crazy, whack stuff? Absolutely. But this is not even realistic anymore.
no,
That scene at least isn't,
it's just I don't want this entire stream to be about us like shitting on season 6, because there was still quite a lot that I liked. It's just, the problem is, it's like you're trying to do shit that's like, because you don't realize like, oh crap, like we have to kind of explain like why Kreese is going to go after Johnny again or something. Like it's I don't know. It just to me a lot of the season is just very weird. Like a lot of things that should have been character long like arcs just end up being like an episode like worth of oh it's sort of resolved. Maybe we'll come back to it. It's like the whole thing about Robbie being like, oh, you're second place. Like you would think that would at least be a season long like arc for him where it's like, hey, I want to win the Sakai Taikai because I don't want to be second place. Unless maybe I'm not reading into it that much, but I feel like not having him go that far or like just having him just be like, oh yeah, Miguel, are we good? It's like, I don't know. I just feel like unless there's something I'm missing, I just feel like it almost feels like you're rushing through things because you realize, we don't have a lot of time here. Let's hurry it up here.
No,
Like,
that's legit how it is. No, that's legit because I almost forgot about that whole plot point, which I actually thought was interesting and could have been fantastic for Robbie, was that whole second place thing. And I did like the him thinking about it and coming back to all the times he got second place and all of that. Like that's something really good and has a lot of potential, especially for the last season, right?
yeah.
But no, again, it just rushes it, and they'll probably not bring it back up. And I don't like that because it's like, okay, well, what are you going to make these characters then do? Because then these characters are not going to do something for the rest of these episodes. Like, you know, like for example, with Devin, she got her whole episode to herself, basically, you know?
Yeah,
And
it's
none of the other characters did anything. Oh yeah, what another thing. Let's bring up the Hawk and Dimitri stuff. Okay. I thought, okay, now you're setting up a rivalry kind of like with the two best friends and all that. Like, I mean, we've already seen this though back in season 3 and all that, done a lot better. But it's like, okay, basically they're fine because Hawk doesn't want to go to the same college that Dimitri wants to. Okay. Well, again, that's resolved within the same episode.
I don't even think they really resolve it though, do they?
No, they didn't. No, they never mind. They didn't, but it's like, oh yeah, Dimitri's. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want to talk about. So do you remember the whole thing of Dimitri being like, oh crap, I have to win. I have to go to this global tournament because my girlfriend needs me to? Remember all that?
I do remember, yes.
That just took one whole episode. Like, that could have been... Like, see, that's the thing. This whole first 5 episodes should have been who goes to this global tournament. But instead of it being individual episodes, it should have been, okay, this is what this, like, cutting back and forth. Like, the kids are like, okay, well, we gotta... think about this, and that's the drama. Who goes to this tournament,
Yeah, like I think, and you know what? The more I think about it, Ninja, I don't know if you would agree or disagree with me. I think realistically, season 6 should have been a 2-part movie.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It should have been just a movie. I actually think it should just be a movie. One movie, even. It could have been really nice as a closure movie.
Now, as long as you don't do a Troll Hunters Rise of the Titans.
Yeah, that's true.
But you really did not need to stretch this out that much. Like, you could have made I would say do a 2-part movie, but have, like, those character, like, arcs be kind of prevalent within those 2 parts. Like, Robbie has to juggle with not only dealing with, you know, trying to help Kenny, but he's also fearing like, oh, I've always second place because of this, that, the other. Like Miguel wants to win the tournament because he wants to, you know, to get into Stanford. And then you have like the Sam and Tori stuff. Like there's things that you could have made it into just a movie, but instead we're rushing through it in one episode because well, we kind of written ourselves into a corner here. Now we got to try and figure out how are we going to fix this. So,
you know what would have been better also? And I now just thought of it. What if you didn't even see Kreese at all for this entire first part until that last scene in season 5? Okay. And then in episode 6, you get all the, like, flashbacks, I guess would be the best, like, explaining what happened with Kreese and all of that. Like, you get what I mean by that? Like, you read up, and then they finally see Kreese, and then everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, Kreese is here? You know, like... And then cut back, and then we see Kreese doing all this shit. But the biggest thing that I have a problem with is, okay, Kreese wants to restart Cobra Kai, even though it's like Cobra Kai legit has a bad reputation. Like, see, that's what I mean by what I thought the season was gonna go was Daniel was not gonna like this, but he and Johnny was gonna make their new combined group named Cobra Kai, because Johnny's main goal at the beginning of season 1 was to make Cobra Kai mean something different than what Kreese did, you know? So I thought that was finally what we were going to get, and then Kreese was going to make his new karate dojo, you know? And then it was going to be named something completely different. And then they would fight somehow, you know. Now, are we getting somewhat like that? Yes, but it's like, why Cobra Kai again? And these characters that they're training, I don't care about them. I don't care at all about these newbies. You know why? Because we haven't gotten a single bit of build-up until this season.
Yeah. But, and maybe to switch gears towards more positivity now, because we did spend about close to 20, like about 30-ish minutes talking about, like, the season itself wasn't, or like 20-ish minutes where we talk about, yeah, the season's not that great. But not to say that all of it was bad, because it wasn't. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, Cobra Kai season 6 is like the worst thing. It had nothing good. No, there was a lot. I'll even go each by episode. Like I think like the ones that some are like individual stuff. Like Stingray kind of using Cobra Kai as like, hey, I want to teach kids about karate because you know you made me feel good about myself, Johnny, and you not wanting to help me makes you like a bitch. Like not really saying he's a bitch, but almost saying like, hey, like, or giving Johnny the epiphany of like, hey, sometimes you gotta like do what you gotta do, but at the same time, you gotta suck it up almost. Like you gotta do kind of little this, little that. And I'm like, okay, that was really nice.
Austin, real quickly, because I know you do want to shift to positive stuff.
Yeah.
I got one more negative that I need to talk about. And I legit just looked at my notes. Okay. So it's about the whole global tournament. So you know how freaking Daniel wants to win and all of that, and the whole thing is like, oh, get more dojos, honor Mr. Miyagi and all that shit.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Miyagi, like Miyagi-Do's legacy to win like the global tournament and possibly start all these dojos is overtly like the complete opposite of what Mr. Miyagi's like perspective on tournaments is. And this is what I mean. Like, Mr. Miyagi didn't even want Daniel to, like, enter the first tournament, if you remember, until he realized how important it was for, like, his confidence. Same thing with, like, the 1985 tournament, for example. You know, that was the whole point of that whole movie, if you remember. Mr. Miyagi didn't want to train him because he didn't want him to enter that tournament. So that's why he went over to Terry Silver. Remember?
I do, yes.
So this whole thing of, oh, hey, I want to honor Mr. Miyagi by doing something he never even wanted, goes against Mr. Miyagi and goes against everything that Daniel learned.
Well, that, and also like the stuff that they're trying to do with Miyagi, and like trying to like add a little more to his backstory, saying how, you know, he fought in the Sakai Takai, and it's like, and like him robbing something. It's like, did we really need this? Like,
It's almost like they want to ruin. Now, I'm not saying they are going to ruin his legacy because we got to see the whole season.
yeah.
But it's almost like right now, at least, we're at a state where it's like, you better not ruin Mr. Miyagi's legacy. Like, because Mr. Miyagi, like, is the reason why Daniel legit became the Karate Kid. Like, without him, none of this would really happen.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, you better not ruin him. Because if you do, like, I'm legit just gonna pretend, just like my own headcanon, season 5 was it. Like, that's legit what I'm gonna do if this season does that. I'm gonna straight up tell you that right now, Austin.
I will say, I hope it doesn't do that. I don't think they're gonna do anything that's gonna completely harm Miyagi's legacy. I just really hope like, I just hope they don't go like Last Jedi with it and try to like do something to ruin Miyagi.
I was so scared at first. I was like, oh no, please don't tell me Mr. Miyagi faked his death and he's secretly chilling somewhere. Like,
That would be a really sinister twist if it's revealed like Mr. Miyagi was behind Kreese all along.
Mr. Miyagi's actually the main antagonist of this season.
He was the main antagonist all along.
That would have been that would be very bad, but also be kind of cool.
It's revealed that he's been manipulating all of it from behind the scenes. Like,
yes, he is legit the puppet master. He's like, I unleashed Kreese. I told Kreese that Johnny was starting Cobra Kai back in Cobra Kai season 1, and I told him to walk through the doors and all of that at the end of season 1. I unleashed everything. Don't you understand? I was the one who sabotaged Moon's car to hit Johnny's car in season 1. I did everything.
But he's got to be like in like a wheelchair or something, because like he's at this point he's like so old. But yet it would be really funny just seeing Mr. Miyagi in like a wheelchair, like evil Mr. Miyagi in a wheelchair.
No, Austin. Like, he's hooked up to a crane.
he wedges himself in with the crane, like he puts his underwear, like he wedges himself.
Yes, yep, and he only has his black belt and his freaking underwear that's all pink and all black.
Like, it's just Mr. Miyagi on a crane, and like you see, like he has to have the crane operator, and like the crane operator is like lowering like the crane down, and he's like hot wiring the car, like making sure the car like hits Johnny's car.
Yeah, I know exactly. He's like, it is all my plan, and then Daniel's like, oh no, Mr. Miyagi, I thought you were good. No, Daniel-san.
I've never been good this entire time.
I've never been good. I've been secretly training my own Cobra Kai, but they're not called Cobra Kai. They're called the Cobra Does.
They are the Miyagi Fang.
The Miyagi, oh yeah, the Miyagi Fang, and then he's like, no, you legit took Johnny's side, Johnny's name over Miyagi-Do. He's like, I never liked Miyagi-Do. I wanted to recreate Miyagi-Do into my own.
That'd be such a really weird twist, but it'd be really funny.
Like that's the thing, and then he would train. He would have a new student, and his student is none other than. All right, let's do the drum roll. Do. Louis.
Who?
Louis.
Louis is gonna be the next. Louis is gonna be the next trainee. You know what? Yes.
I might write that. I might ask AI to write that later on tonight. I'll be like, all right, let's do a better season 6.
This is the alternate this is like the alternate fucked up timeline. Like this is like if someone fucked up the timeline and this is what we get for Cobra Kai season 6. We got Mr.
exactly.
Miyagi with a hook or like he's attached to a crane. He's training Louis to be his fucking
next. Man, I just got a better idea. Mr. Miyagi and what's Kreese, they're gonna be teaming up and all of that, and they're gonna team up secretly. Kreese and Mr. Miyagi has been best friends since the first Karate Kid. Secretly.
It's the prophecy.
It is the prophecy. They've been secretly best friends this entire time. And Johnny and Daniel have to defeat the two best friends of friendship. Their masters are now best friends. Now they must become best friends.
God, this is like really fucking sinister. Like this would genuinely be
interesting, at least. It would be funny and interesting. Not good, but funny and interesting.
It would be really fucking funny. Yeah, but just to go back though, because I think we pretty much covered all our negatives. I think.
Yes.
Going back to positives, like the Stingray stuff. For the one episode we saw Mike Barnes, I thought he was really. I really liked Mike Barnes in that one episode. Like him still struggling with karate was my life, and right now, because of everything that happened with Kreese and like my store being burnt down, like him wanting to go back to karate, but him being hard on the kids wasn't necessarily because he was being he's in Cobra Kai. Like, no, it's just because he is so frustrated with everything, and because he's taking it, not necessarily taking it out on them, but like dealing with he's just dealing with a lot. And it's one of those things where I really liked him in terms of him trying to like almost deal with what's going on in his personal life.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that with Mike Barnes. He was actually a good spotlight.
Yeah.
For this, at least, I will say for the one episode, he did a pure good job.
Yeah. The Johnny's stuff, I thought was really solid. Like him, like we talked about earlier, he's trying to find a home for his family because of the apartment leaked, and him trying to find a house, and the whole thing with and then he has to build his crypt. But I really like the scene where it's like he starts off on the wrong foot with the salesman, but then like there's a guy who's like, "Oh my god, we went to the same place. You know, I've seen you do karate. That's really cool." And like Johnny having that like not really emotional, but like having that heart to heart, I was like, "Oh, that's actually kind of nice." Like I really like that. And I still found it really funny how like we were talking about earlier where it's like Johnny's like, "Hey, I want a job," and Dan was like, "No, that's not what we agreed to. That's not what I meant." And like Daniel's just like almost like like not really panicking, but he's just having like that moment of like, "Oh God, what have I done?" But you see it like how Johnny's like really good, and it's just like it's Johnny being Johnny, but Johnny's like dumb, but he's like dumb in like a really funny way. So it's like, oh okay, like it's not like, oh, he's stupid because he's
Well, it fits his character, and that's one thing that I feel like this season does still know what to do with Johnny. That's good, Now, do I think some of his issues, like finding a house and all that, couldn't be like? Well, I do think it will be bring up still because he still did not get the house.
Yeah,
Austin.
Yeah.
He just said, "Hey, next time, like, offer me a deal." I'm pretty sure, right? Or no, next time, as soon as you get the money, give it to me. I'm pretty sure, or something like that, right? Like,
Something
I'll
like
offer
that.
you a deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that that's what the guy said, like, I do like that they still left that go, but again, yeah, I will say with Johnny, good for him.
I agree. And also Peyton List as Tori, she fucking carried this season. Like,
yes.
As far as like acting wise, like my god, she absolutely carried. Like she was absolutely tremendous. Like I like that like episode 5 as a whole, I fucking loved episode 5.
Yes, me too.
Like that was easily the best episode of the season so far. It like her acting was just like you just see like somebody who's just hurting and like her like absolutely contemplating like just like saying like, "Hey, please, like please just like let me fight, let me do this," and like just that like and then them like, "No, you have to do this," and then she's like, "Fuck you, I quit." Like you feel for her. Like you feel for her as a character because you want her because like it's not one of those things where it's not like, oh, it's not black white. It's like it's a very gray area. And like and as much as granted, I don't like the whole like thing, where Johnny and Diaz like, yeah, after this tournament, we're done because again, of
Well,
course,
that just brings up season 4. They said the same thing about season 4, remember?
So, well, yeah, that. But at the same time, too, it's like I really like the beginning of that though, where like Daniel's like, "Why aren't you backing me up?" And Johnny's like, "No, she's working through it because I've been through the same thing. Like you're not listening to her, and now because of that, you just lost us, one of our best fighters." And like that actually, like I really like that. Like to me, that's. I think just that moment really gives him a little bit more like just a lot more meat to it and a lot more of a like character.
Yes, I do definitely agree. And seeing her mom pass away was very emotional and really did improve the story. Now, did I like that she turned on them? No, not necessarily, but I can understand. Because was Kreese there for her? Yes. For like season 3 and 4, yes. So I do understand. It was till Silver that she turned back. Right? I'm pretty sure that's when
pretty much something like that, yeah.
And even then, I think she visited she visited Kreese in prison for one episode, and Kreese was like just stay calm and all that. So I do understand why she went back. I just think it's a little bit like, wow, you just left your boyfriend, Robbie, like that, like without telling him, like, oh hey, yeah, I might go join new Cobra Kai. Like, it's like,
but you still like understand why she did it. It's like,
yeah,
that's why it's not like a black and white situation where it's like, oh, she's in the wrong or this person's wrong. Like, no, it's a situation where it's a complicated situation that nobody knows how to deal with, and it's them trying to deal with it. They're trying to deal with it in their own ways. So it's like, it's like one of those things where you kind of have, like, not take it with a grain of salt, but you have to look at it as like a very complex, layered situation.
yes, that's true.
But speaking of Tori too, like this, I thought the episode where Johnny makes like a slumber party and like he's doing, like, as much as I'm not a fan of him trying to sabotage like their like budding friendship, but like that like scene where they're calling the Uber and like they finally hash out their differences and like basically saying all the tense stuff.
Oh, I love that whole. No, I love that whole sequence of Johnny freaking trying to stole the phone and all that. Like, that was freaking hilarious in my opinion. Like,
I like
straight up.
I like that he stole Miguel and Robbie's.
Yeah, that's that's what I mean. Like, I love that whole sequence, and Devin is just there, and he's just doing it, like, just openly telling her, like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. I'm like, you do realize they're just sitting right in front of you, right? Like you explaining it to her just like that. But it's funny that they didn't even hear, and then they're like, hang on a second.
It's very goofy, but it's funny. I like it. I mean, I think that in terms of the context of it, I like, but I will admit it, like, but see, there are things in this season that are just really funny to me that it's like I can still chuckle and be like, oh, okay, that's kind of Cobra Kai-esque. Like, I like that, like, because you always got to have that montage. You have to have that Johnny montage every season. Like, season 2, you have the one with him like trying to get the computer to work. You have at season 3 him trying to find a new location for like where they can train. Season 5 was him being an Uber. Season 4 was like Johnny and Daniel training in their own different styles. Like, you always got to have like that one Johnny thing, like every season, where you have to have that montage of Johnny being Johnny and like him doing stupid things. Oh, God, it's just really funny. Like, I just think like there's a lot that I liked, and it's like I think, but a lot of it really just comes down to more individual character stuff than it really is from like a episode standpoint.
Yeah. No, I can understand that.
Oh, and another, I actually really like Chosen's like character here too, because like you kind of have him going through like like he's dealing with like the trauma of like nearly losing his life to Terry Silver, and then you have like Kumiko who maybe ghosted him. Like, it's really like I've Chosen just came off very layered and complex here, and I really like that. I mean, is there going to be an episode where he's going to go back to Okinawa? Maybe. I couldn't tell you, but you know what? If they do it, they do it. So I think we pretty much talked about season 6, part 1, because I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Do you have any like predict? Because I think they said part 2 was going to be the Sekai Taikai. So who do you think is going to win the global tournament here? Like the Sekai Taikai, I think, or just What are the general predictions for part 2? Like what are your predictions?
Okay, if they are gonna write this good, I'm gonna say that the new Cobra Kai is actually gonna win. The majority.
Okay.
Because wouldn't that make sense, right? Like, you have Act 1 as the first part where the heroes are all fine, and then the second part the heroes all fall, and then the third part they have to rise back up.
That would make sense. However, it's kind of one of those things where I think you may be right when it comes to Sakai Takai, but I feel like on the men's side, I think on the female side, I think they're actually they might have Devin win, as a upset.
Yes, yeah, no, I do agree, but I mean the majority, though. I think new Cobra Kai is gonna win. I think, we're gonna get. Now, is it gonna be a little bit outrageous? Absolutely, because we don't know any of these new Cobra Kai kids really that much. So, is it gonna be outrageous that it's like, oh, great, for example, what's his name? Miguel can't even win against this one guy. It's gonna be a little bit outrageous, but it's I can see why they would do it, because they have to build up to that third part.
Yeah.
For maybe something else. You get what I mean? But then yet again, it's from other predictions, because they said Terry Silver will be in this season, I think he will appear next part.
Do you think he's going to have a massive role in part 2, or do you think it's just going to be kind of one of those, he's going to show up towards the end?
Well, they said that Kreese does get his revenge on him, and there's a rumor that they'll team back up. So, which I don't like the idea of them teaming back up, especially because of what happened in 4 and 5. I think he will play a solid role for one episode. And that's it. I think he will probably be... Well... What do you... that's another thing. Kreese gets revenge on him. Well, he's locked away, so what do you mean by he gets revenge on him? Do you mean, he breaks him out and then he kills him? Or what? What do you do?
Yeah, that is kind of weird for me, because it's kind of what do you mean by revenge? Do you mean he's just gonna show up in his cell or something, kick the shit out of him, or is he
that's not really a that's just random.
That's just you being kind of a dick at that point, because then it's just you're beating a guy while he's down, I guess. But it's I don't know. I mean, I gotta see it to be oh god, this is gonna be bad or good. It's just I gotta see it first.
But then yet again, though, if they team back up again, he beats him up, and then he's like, now will you join me again on my quest to bring Cobra Kai back? It's oh my god, we're legit repeating the whole plot line of season 4. Wasn't that the whole plot line of season 4? Oh, hey, Silver, can you come back and, help me train these guys? You get what I mean by that, Austin? And then just wait. Part 3 will be Terry Silver will beat the living shit out of Kreese. And then he'll take over Cobra Kai again.
But the twist is, no, there's gonna be no twist. It's gonna be Terry Silver's going, oh, I took over Cobra Kai, and then they're gonna turn around and have Daniel beat Terry Silver again, or something.
Yes. No, the big twist is that Mr. Miyagi appears on his crane. He's gonna be secretly, that prison that Silver went to? That's Mr. Miyagi's prison. He owns a freaking prison now.
He's the prison warden.
He's the prison warden, and he has a movable crane, and like through the through the cells and all of that, so like a zip line.
We gotta putting Miyagi on a zip line is absolutely fucking foul. Like that's absolutely sinister.
Like he has a zip line, and zip line's attached to his ass, and he's just like wee.
Him zipping down on a zip line, going wee. That
Danielson, wee. And then he's teaching Terry Silver how to wash a car. That's what he's teaching all the people in the prison.
No, but then after he tells them to wash the cars, then he forces them to like break like the windows or something.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that just made me another great idea what this season could have done. What if Kreese actually took what Miyagi-Do was doing and he applied it to his dojo? So he used that against them, and then they are like, okay, yes, we actually do have to use Cobra Kai. Like that, you get what I mean?
That actually would be interesting. I feel like that right there kind of would work. But no, they were like, no, we're going to have him go, Cobra Kai is back.
Yeah, Cobra Kai is back, baby. That's all that Kreese is like, nah, that should be what Mr. Miyagi says. Cobra Kai is back, baby. Danielson.
If Mr. Miyagi was going to be in that scene, it should be Mr. Miyagi on the zip line, but he's gonna have sunglasses on, and he's gonna have like a leather jacket. He's go, Cobra Kai is back.
Well, now remember, he's in his boxer, in his undies too. So he's attached to a zip line on his ass through his freaking undies. And they're pink. He's gonna have a leather coat on and sunglasses. He's gonna have a cigar, and he's gonna be smoking with Kreese. Double guy's back.
So he,
Danielson, and Daniel's like, Mr. Miyagi, you lied to me. He's like, I lied to you, Danielson, because you needed to be lied to. You see, I've been training my own prison for this. I've been training my own prison for this. I started befriending Kreese while he was in prison. I allowed him to escape.
I allowed all of this to happen.
I'm telling you, I sabotaged your daughter's best friend's car to crash into Johnny's car.
Wait, but I thought you died. No, I didn't die.
No, I didn't. I did, well, you see, Danielson, I buried up my old uncle's body, and and his skeleton and his blood matched my blood, so you thought that you were burying me, but you actually buried my great uncle.
It's man. See that would be like, as much as that idea, it's bad, but it's so bad that it's really funny. Like the idea.
Honestly, I can actually see it kind of being pulled off. Like that's the sad thing about it. Like
that's the fucking sinister part, is just the fact that it could happen.
That would have been so freaking funny if that was the truth. I would have been like, guys, season 6 was bad, but it was funny bad. Like, kind of like Riverdale season 7 bad. Or, I mean, season 6 when they became superheroes.
Exactly.
So,
Now I'm gonna get into these couple chats, and I think we're gonna call it here.
okay.
Freddy Krueger, thank you for stopping by. Season 6 is awful. I don't know if it's so awful yet. It's not straight. Cinderette, what's up? She says, for a show called Cobra Kai, there aren't enough snakes. You know, sadly, you may have a point there. You may have a point. But with that being said, we went a lot longer than I thought. I thought we were going to go a lot shorter than that, but the conversation was too good and enthralling about Mr. Miyagi and a zip line.
And his underwear.
Yeah. But we will be back talking about Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 2 when it comes out in November.
Yay.
But until then, you may be wondering, oh man, Austin, does that mean you're going to be gone for another 3-4 months? No, I'm still going to be doing some stuff, on the channel. A lot more, still doing wrestling stuff, but, we're also going to be covering the Karate Kid movies because you know what? We have so much, we've gone too long talking about Cobra Kai, and so we're going to do some Karate Kid stuff, and then we're going to talk about Rebel Moon on Shadow Eye because Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
But with that being said, Nindroid, where can they find you at?
All right, you can find me on my new channel, Nindroid243. Yeah. I do a show called Super Chat. Yes, very original name. That's on Fridays, where we do superhero related stuff. We had to push it because of Dylan to yesterday, so we did react to all the Doctor Doom stuff, Avengers, but we also did do our review for Deadpool and Wolverine. So next week we'll be probably talking about Avengers stuff with Doctor Doom and all of that, and more. So yes, guys, go check out that and more. And I'm also gonna be on Austin's channel whenever. So thank you, Austin, for inviting me back on here.
Yeah, no problem, man. And you can just find me everywhere at this point. You can usually find me sometimes on Robert Storm's channel for Storm's Nation Live. You can find me on Wednesdays for the Hangout, on Guy Scar's channel, The Basco Scenario, and maybe sometimes find me on Ninjoid's channel. You can find me on The Cool Kids as well, where we review movies. I'm just everywhere, man. Go check me out. With that being said, though, guys, thank you guys for watching. This is the Austinator, signing out.
Peace.
That's awesome.